Taxes are always a hot issue for voters, and clashes over taxes have been even more explosive on the 2016 campaign trail. Here's why it matters. Each of the past 3 presidents turned his main tax proposals into law within 4 years of taking office. With more than a dozen White House hopefuls jockeying for the presidency this year, it can be hard to keep all of the plans straight. So to help you out, here's a recap of where the top candidates stand on taxes. On the Democratic side, frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders have both called for higher taxes on businesses and wealthy Americans.
If you're rich and if you're a profitable corporation, you are going to start paying your fair share of taxes.
I don't think we should be imposing new big programs that are going to raise middle-class families' taxes.
Clinton has pledged not to raise taxes on everyone, specifically families that earn less than $250,000 a year. But she has introduced proposals to tax rich families, like a new 4% surcharge on Americans who make more than $5 million a year. Sanders, a self-described socialist, takes tax hikes even farther, proposing to add a 2.2% premium on everyone's income to pay for a single-payer healthcare system. And in addition to the 7 existing tax brackets, Sanders wants to create 4 new tax brackets, with the top rate of 52% applied to those making more than $10 million a year. Both plans proposed by Sanders and Clinton would raise tax rates for the highest-earning families to levels the nation hasn't seen for 3 decades. On the opposite end of the spectrum are the Republicans, who have all proposed to lower taxes. But how they do that remains a point of contention.
And listen, there's a real difference between Marco's tax plan and mine.
I have a pro-family tax code.
Taxes too high, wages too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world.
Simplify the tax code to spur economic activity in this country.
Many of the so-called establishment candidates, Governors Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, and John Kasich, have proposed more standard tax plans, cutting income and corporate tax rates, reducing the number of brackets from 7 to 3, and limiting deductions. Businessman Donald Trump has proposed to reduce the number of tax brackets from 7 to 4, with the bottom rate of 0% for single filers making less than $25,000 a year. He reduces the top rate to 25%. Trump also takes business tax cuts deeper to 15% from the current 35%. Florida Senator Marco Rubio's plan also stands out, but for a different reason. His top income bracket of 35% is higher than other GOP candidates, but he eliminates taxes on capital gains and dividends. He has also proposed a new $2,500 child tax credit. Senators Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, along with retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson, have more radical plans. Paul and Cruz want to blow up the current system and replace both income tax and payroll tax with a consumption tax, which most tax policy experts characterized as a value-added tax, or VAT. That means citizens are taxed based on what they spend, not on what they earn. Then there's Ben Carson, who is calling for a flat tax of 14.9% across the board, meaning the rich and poor would pay the same rates. Carson's plan would end taxes on capital gains and abolish popular deductions, like the charitable and mortgage deductions. Many of the plans proposed by Republicans take an aggressive approach to tax cuts that go well beyond the party's previous platforms. And with Democrats moving in the opposite direction, voters will have to choose between 2 extremes in the general election.